Okay, everyone, I think we can have our cameras come on. We are ready to start. And the students are trickling in one by one. So, in the meantime, we'll get started, especially for those of you who would now be watching us on YouTube. A special welcome to all of you. And good evening to all of the students who have joined us. So, a big welcome and also a big congratulations are due. But before we get into the good stuff, let's just get the introductions out of the way. So, I'm Bhavya from Scholastic India. I'll be walking you through this evening's celebration. And this is a pretty special evening for us, not just because we are launching the book, although that is exciting, but also because we are celebrating the power of stories, the skill and talent of storytelling, the effort and the creativity that all of our young writers that have poured into this project. And I know it's been such a journey for them, and we're thrilled to be here to share the final result with all of you. So the book we're launching today is Ink and Mysteries. It's a brand new anthology featuring stories from 20 student authors from all across the country. These young writers were part of the Scholastic Writers Academy, our 10-day creative writing mentorship program. And this book is the final beautiful result of that process. But yes, before we get into the launch itself, I'd love to introduce two very special guests who are here with us today. So first up is our chief guest, Ms. Preeta Abraham. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here. It truly means a lot to us and to our authors. And ma'am, with your permission, I'd love to take a moment to tell everyone a little bit about you. Okay, so Preeta ma'am is someone who has spent more than 2 decades shaping young minds and guiding schools with both compassion and clarity. And she is the principal of St. John's Public School. She holds a master's and MPhil in history with a gold medal, no less, and a B.Ed. And she has been an educator for over 24 years, including 22 years in school leadership roles. But beyond the degrees and the experience, what really stands out is the heart that she brings to everything that she does, whether it is creating reading books for young learners, or mentoring teachers, or building a school environment where every child feels seen and supported. She is someone who believes that education isn't just about what you know, but about what you do with that knowledge and how you carry yourself in the world. So we're really honored to have you here with us today. And ma'am, I know your presence and your words would mean a lot to our young authors.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And now also the person who's been in the writer's room. Of course, our writers need no introduction, but for those of you watching us, all of these young authors, uh, the person who helped them shape their stories, who gave them the feedback, who asked the tough questions, and I'm sure answered a bunch of them too. For them, it's our wonderful mentor, Nandini. Hi, Nandini.
Hello,
Hi.
hello.
Hello. So Nandini is joining us from Australia and, carrying with her the incredible time difference. But we're so glad that she could make time to be here with us today. Nandini is a published poet and an author, and her debut book of poetry, Walls Within, was published by Amaryllis with a foreword by eminent poet and lyricist Gulzar, who called it a hypnotic exploration of worlds within. And her next book, Unburdened, which was co-authored by Nitya Shanti, who's an internationally acclaimed teacher, was commissioned by Penguin India in 2022. And her work has been published in Outlook, The Punch magazine, Usawa Literary Journal, and other magazines and anthologies as well. And she was awarded the Royal International Poetry Prize in 2020 for Best Upcoming Poet. And she was also the cultural editor at NRI Affairs, an independent news and current affairs platform. She also produces and hosts a show called Pause with Nandini, where she features change makers who are a force for good. So, Nandini, lovely to see you again. And I can only imagine how proud you must be to see all of the authors and see their work come together. and even collaborating with them, guiding them must have been such a blast. And we'd love to hear about your experience and theirs. But before that, for all of our viewers who are joining us on YouTube and wondering what Writers Academy is really about, just a little intro for all of you. It's, as I mentioned, an intensive, engaging 10-day mentorship program that we run for our young writers. But what really happens over the course of these 2 weeks is that students work closely with our mentor. They brainstorm ideas, they learn how to structure their stories, editing, revising, and eventually presenting an original short story of their own. And not just that, they also write their author bios like real published authors, which now they are. So once the stories are done, our team at Scholastic steps in and brings them all together into a professional anthology, a real book with their name in print. And today, that's the book we are launching, the latest in our series. And so far, we've had around 2,500 students that have gone through this program and gotten published. And honestly, that number still blows our minds every time, because to think that so many writers, young writers, have so dedicatedly indulged in and honed their skills for this craft, it's heartening to know and witness. And that's why this celebration, because this effort and the sincerity, it deserves to be lauded. Right. So without any further ado, let's get to the big moment. Ms. Preeta ma'am, with your permission, I'd like to request you to officially launch the book with a few words for our authors.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Bhavya, for having me here. Really, it's a great honor, because I always think that writing is the best form of expression which reaches a lot of people and stays there in for generations to read and be there. So I really commend all these authors who have put in their creative ideas. To become an author, you have to have both sides of your brains working. So it's creativity as well as intellect. So these children who have put in their effort, this is really very commendable. My applause to all of them. And I would always say, yes, as authors, you must have had a great sense of observation and reflecting on the events, the experiences. It matters that you need to have a rich vocabulary and, of course, research skills. So that is how I can understand all the effort, the sweat, and the time you must have put into it. And this must be a wonderful piece that you have brought out. And thanks to Scholastics, who is taking all these effort to bring out writers. Otherwise, writing books is like kind of dying out, where children not being is fascinated towards, or rather the mobile is taking away all the fascination. So books are kind of, so at this point, at this juncture, Scholastics is doing a wonderful work, and I really applaud such Scholastics also for reviving book writing and reviving book reading into the young generation. So this is a great effort on both the parts, and I'm really happy and thankful for the Scholastics to have brought me for this. Thank you so much, and great congratulations to the young authors. Great job you people have done, and I would love to read your work.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And definitely, having sent the copy across, you can take your own time going through the stories. I think that's one of the best things about having a physical book in your hand. You can, slowly go through it whenever you get time. You get 10, 15 minutes away from work or your daily life. You can just, cozy up into a corner and get going through the stories one by one. So I look forward to you reading the stories and getting back to us, letting us know what you think. But yes, before we move ahead, I'd like to have a small photo op moment with our authors. The 3, 4 of you that are present. I know that it's a really busy time for our senior students, and I'm so glad that you guys make time to, come online and have a conversation with us. So just a little photo op moment. If you guys have your books with you, if you can hold them up. Yes. Thank you so much.
Adrit's camera is off.
Yes. Adrit, can we please have the camera come on? Come on, you guys know the drill. Scholastic Writers Academy, 10 days, we'll hound you if your cameras are turned off. So even if you don't have your book, that's okay. Just want to see your smiling faces. Yes,
Ah, there he is.
there he is.
Lovely.
I think he's rushing to get the book. Okay, just a second. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Now, Nandini, 10 days. I know it's been a while since the book came out, since the publication process with all of its loops takes incredibly long. But how was your experience with the batch? How was the workshop with these young authors like?
You know, one of the most interesting things is that you don't know what is going to happen, right? Even though we've got a structure and Scholastic's been really good in putting the process in place. But the beauty of it is because it's creative minds, anything can happen. Stories emerge, some people start off with a bang, and then suddenly it's like, I don't know where the story is going. I don't even like my main character anymore. Or someone else could be like, I've liked the story so far, but now I don't know what to do. And so each day is different, and that's what makes it exciting. And I think for me, the most gratifying thing is when the young authors have trusted their own voice, because sometimes, just given how sometimes our educational systems can be, a lot of things are told to young people. This is what it is. This is the answer. This is where you find it. And being able to go back to them and say, well, what do you think? What should happen next? You trust your own voice. And when the authors have actually taken that feedback and taken that next step into their story and actually made it work, I think that's quite gratifying. But I want to hear from them. I want to hear from them how it feels to hold their stories in their hand and, remember that whole time when they were writing it. And what does that process feel like for them?
I think since there's like only 3 or 4 of us here, I think we can have a really good, intense conversation. And you know what? I do recognize Ranveer. I did not place it until, I saw him on screen. Ranveer, were you a part of the World Book Fair panel discussion?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Yes, I I had a feeling. So during World Book Fair in February, we had a series of discussions, panel discussions with 45 authors from Delhi over the course of 9 days. So at Children's
Amazing.
Pavilion, we got into a really good discussion about being an author at such a young age. So Ranveer, it's been a while since you've done this and you did that as well. Does the feeling get any less intense every single time you hold the book?
No, personally, I feel the same incremental experience that I had when I first got it. It remains every time. Uh, I mean, it's been a while that I wrote the book, but still, the experience that I incurred here is gonna stay with me lifelong. I've done another book with Scholastics Academy, and that stayed with me for a long time. That same experience carrying on to the next book and writing that in a 10-day window was amazing. With my expert mentor, which I would say Miss Nandini, uh, it was really great. I mean, her feedback was quite needed for me, and that actually that I could use it in my daily life. Like for example, basic things that writing gives you, no other field can. So personally, I feel writing is one of the most it's a key experience one should go through. It's a factor of your development uh, to increment your personality. So I mean, it was quite a good experience. Anybody else would like to speak? I please will recommend them, and I thank you. Yes.
I like how he passed the baton on. And you know what? I just realized something. All of you guys have like normal looking backgrounds. I have this white wall. It makes me look like I'm in heaven. There's like nothing to make me look like I'm in an actual room. But yes, sorry. I think I'd like to hear from Triana as well.
Uh,
Triana, how was the experience?
Honestly, I feel like it was a really I think it was one of the best decisions I've taken in terms of like honing my natural voice in terms of how I write. And I think having the structure of 2 hour sessions was really helpful because the structure was clear and was needed. Because when I write, it's like, oh, maybe one day I'll write for 15 minutes, the next day I'll write for an hour, and the day after that I won't write at all. So having like a set time period in which I know that I have to do nothing but write was really helpful. Um, Also, like the instructor, Nandini ma'am, she really knew her stuff. Her feedback was very consistent and super direct, and it was very helpful as well. So, yeah, I guess.
So having that dedicated time really allowed you to actually get the writing done, where you're not really expected to do anything else and just write. Have you been able to carve out time after that, for writing itself?
Not really. I mean, I think that comes with having a school life. But yeah, whenever I get time, I do try to write as much as I can.
Have you written any pieces after that, even if they're not published, even if it's your day-to-day life or poetry or anything?
Yeah, I write short stuff, short stories, short poems, stuff like that, but nothing of substance really.
I wouldn't say that. I think even Nandini would agree. I don't think you
You
should
know,
be
yes.
describing your own life.
You know, I'm ready to jump in and say, what do you mean it's not of substance?
I mean, very unpolished, unrefined, not very clear in terms of creative voice or direction, just stuff that I think of randomly and then note down whenever I get the time. So,
You know, I'll just quickly say one thing and then we can move on. As a writer, you know, you will always have many little things in different stages of production, right? Some are just a starting point, some you have refined, some are rough diamonds. But this is your wealth. As a writer, you know, sometimes we think, oh, you have to sit down and write one piece beginning to end. No, like if someone looked at my phone, they would think there's something a little bit wrong with my head because sometimes there'll just be 5 words there, or there'll be like one sentence there, and out of that one sentence I will develop a whole poem. So you know, it's all good as long as you're engaging with words. It's all good.
I think I'd agree because the words you used, unpolished, unrefined, I think I would use very different words. I think I'd use raw or authentic, and I think that is what works the best with us. We are not machines, right? We are creatures of the moment and we write as we think. And the entire idea is to get those words out of your head, out of your mind, and onto a paper, right? So as long as you're doing that, there's only up from there. Nobody is expecting you to have an impeccable first draft. There's no such thing as an impeccable first draft. And honestly, what would you call writing of substance? Anything that can only be published? I don't think that's just, that should be a defining parameter for what substance amounts to. As long as it helps you figure yourself out, figure out the thoughts in your head, make sense of who you are as a person and what matters to you, I think that is writing of substance.
No,
Yeah.
I think everything you write or every word, like Mrs. Nandini said, everything is a seed, you sow it, at time it comes out. So every idea should be considered as substantial. Maybe it may sound trivial to you right now, but maybe down the line when you keep writing, it will come out to be something very, very much of substance. So every idea, you can just jot it down somewhere and keep it. It may come handy at certain time when you're writing something else. So it's great to have that kind of ideas popping up all the time. I feel you need to be looking around yourself with curiosity, observing people, understanding situations. All those experiences you come around with is definitely going to, color your book, add life to your book.
So true.
That's brilliantly well said. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Sri Rupa, I wanted to ask you as well, and I think your mother is also in the frame. Yeah, so I think we can be a conversation all three ways. How was your experience post the workshop? Have you been writing at all?
Um, I was writing, but the imagination and creativity, it was fueled by my mother. I did have her creativity in the process, but writing was of my own. Um, to frame those ideas, to write it perfectly, it needs a creative mind. I've done it individually.
So it was a work in collaboration?
Collaboration, ma'am, not of course. But ma'am, we do need some support. Even Scholastic, it has like empowered us. Before we did not get a platform. Now the international platform, it has like empowered and given us confidence in our writing in languages, and also feel confident in actually experimenting with the words, um, like getting the idea of how to express some things. We can maybe just add those direct words and not simply be more straightforward, but rather make it a bit more sweeten it with a foreign influence, and that is English. That is why Scholastic is the best platform.
Thank you so much. But yes, I think none of this would be possible without our parents that are there in the room, right? Because being able to make use of this opportunity, use it to your fullest ability, sincerity that you brought to the table, of course, that deserves to be applauded. But the fact that this happened in the first place for you, I think all of you should definitely be grateful to your parents for making this a possibility in the first place. All we can do is bring you the platform, but to be able to get there, I think your support from your parents, your family, your friends, that is, an inevitable part of the process, right? So definitely, it's great to hear from
Indian
you.
culture, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Scholastic India, well, everyone just empowers the other no matter what. Everyone is concerned about what we are doing. That only empowers us.
I mean, yes, that is one way to put it. Um, Adrit, how have you been? How has your journey been with Writers Academy? Oh, how did it
Nandini
feel
ma'am
when you?
was also the one who supported us, and she also helped me like actually get my. She dragged my individuality out, and it came out on paper. I don't know how it came out, but she just dragged it out of my soul, and very quickly she understood what was it. And I thought I could just do my work, but she was like, "No, I will understand what you're getting."
Thank you for that, Shirupa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, Adrit, how has your journey been?
Mom, my journey has been very exciting, mom. I still remember the day we had to submit our final work for the book, the Banne Ke Liye. My word count was very up in my book. So Nandita ma'am took me, Nandita ma'am
Aditi.
quickly took me into, Nanditi ma'am took me into separate call quickly. Ki, let's find what can we do in here, this thing, how can we reduce the size? And it was a very, wow experience. Ki, how will we do it itna jaldi? But ma'am helped me a lot. And we made it.
You made it happen, yes. And I know that the word count was a beast that all of you had to tackle, but you guys did. And, I think the beauty of short stories is the idea of how well you can execute an idea in such little amount of words, right? The art of being able to say a lot with fewer words. I think that is also something that a lot of us need to be picking up on, especially now, with the rise of short form content where shorter attention spans, I mean, with all kinds of development come all kinds of byproducts, evil or not. But even if attention spans are getting shorter, I think what we have to do is adapt with it, right? So being able to say a lot with few words, I think that is a skill that almost all of you picked up on and honed during this workshop. And I know that these last minute changes, as Nandini initially also mentioned, that at last moments you would have this idea that, oh, I don't like where this plot is going, or I don't like what my character is doing. Being able to turn around and craft an ending, or create those changes in such a short amount of time, editing, revising, and redrafting your content, I think that is a huge skill that would pay off later for you, because the idea that you have to be on the go, there are things that might not be working out, might not be sitting well with you. Being able to change that and put in a new perspective or put in a new ending that does make sense, that leaves you with a better sense of satisfaction about your writing. I think that is a very important part of the process of the entire writing. And being an author, I think, since we talked about anyone can write, but very few people can actually write well, put out a story that is readable, that somebody wants to sit down and spend time with. That is a skill that all of you have picked up. So I'm really glad to hear that as well, because yes, word count is definitely something we hear even on the last days. We hear this, everybody's just rushing to see what can they cut off. Do they even need to cut it off, ma'am? Please let us just stay like 50 words above the word count. Is that fine? But all of you make that happen. All of you are able to reach that goal. So I think that is something you should be really proud of. Siddhi, I see you writing. Are you writing right now? Yes, can you please share?
First of all, it's really nice to see everyone. I remember everyone's faces. I remember everything. I remember seeing their faces, their faces in front of their titles when I was flipping through the book as well. And I remember when I was finishing the book, I was not in my city. I was in my nanny's place, and I had finished majority of the book before, like in the first few parts of the entire tenure. But still, I got to learn a lot in those final days of editing, rushing through everything. And the experience, it was phenomenal. All my friends, my parents, my teachers, my principal, everyone appreciated it a lot. And I wrote a lot even after that. I wrote in my school newspaper of like in like of very like unique topics, such as I wrote on the NTA scam. I wrote on the concept of multiverses. I wrote like a dance article for my school as well. And then I wrote a lot of poems because I was planning to get another book published, but then let's see where that idea goes. And the best thing that happened, I was in 10th, I had my boards, and it improved my English so much. Like I topped English in my school, and I was so happy because that made my writing really well. I scored 99, and I was super happy about it. And so yeah, I've been writing creatively, I've been writing academically, and it nothing could have been possible without Scholastic, without Nandini ma'am, without everyone in the team. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to hear that, the sessions were so intense for those, 10 days, that the image of the titles and the names has been imprinted even as you were reading the book. So that's nice to hear in a way. And also, I'm so glad to hear about the things that you've been, you've continued writing, and you've put in the effort to actually branch out and write about more things. And it's really good for us to hear that how you have built up on that skill. And of course, articulation after this kind of a workshop would definitely improve by leaps and bounds, and being able to write better, being able to put your points across better. That is a skill that inevitably comes with these 10 days, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. How did it feel to have the book in your hand for the first time? And I want
Well,
all the little details, where you were, what you were doing, everything.
okay, so I don't remember exactly, but first I got the message that the book has been out, published, and now you can order it. So more than me, my father, he's he's a girl dad, so he's like always so excited about anything I do. Like so excited for no reason. He's very excited. So when he got the message, he was so happy. And he was like, we need to order so many of these. We need to read them 20 times a day. We need to do this, we need to do that. So my father was more excited than me. So like I remember my father's reaction. That's all I remember. But I remember feeling like I did something like really productive. feeling like I will never regret this for the rest of my life. I will remember this for the rest of my life. I will remember how kind of like this was like my first job, you can say. Like first time I was doing something professional, being an author, and everyone's childhood dream at one point has been being a writer or being a songwriter, and that was fulfilled very earlier than I imagined it would be. So I was filled with a lot of gratitude as well towards everyone involved in the process. I was also tensed about my board exams because that's when it got published. But yeah, that was like a little push to me that, Siddhi, you did this, so you can do this as well. And yeah, I was really, really happy.
So
Glad
lovely.
to see that, the book was like this ray of hope in all the dreads that you were feeling amongst your board's contention. But yes, that was brilliantly put. Thank you so much. Did any of you distribute your visiting cards, the author cards that you got with the book in your school or with your friends or your family?
Yes, ma'am, I did, ma'am.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
did?
Ma'am, I distributed it in my entire class, ma'am. In my entire class. So my
Sorry,
entire
Nalini,
class.
you were saying something?
I'm saying, where is my author card? Even I want one. I want to hand out author cards as well.
Definitely, I think we can get some shipped to you. Uh, yes, I think a lot of you were speaking together at the same time. Adrit, I think Sri Rupa as well. We'll go one by one. Yes, Adrit.
Ma'am, as I said, I distributed my cards all over this thing, my class. It was all
All
over
over
there.
your class.
Everyone knew Adrit as a published author by Scholastics Writers Academy. So they
As
used to
they
call me.
should.
Sorry, ma'am.
As they should. You must be walking on air. Your feet must not be touching the ground for a few
Yes,
days,
ma'am.
I'm sure.
So they started calling me author by.
Adrit.
I like the nickname. Yes, Sri Rupa.
Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
share author cards?
Yes, ma'am.
With whom?
And it was like, even though by the time it was book, then everyone knew it. Then it empowered them when they got the visiting cards. Not only that, our society also feels very happy that we have now being in the trend, and also bringing in good influence of scholastic, that is to be individualistic but also Indian, scholastic Indian being secure, but rather be international.
Nice to hear. Thank you. Anybody else? Any story of, sharing your visiting cards, signing out autographs, speaking? Yeah, I think your school must have at least put out an announcement of sorts. Or in your class, anybody? I see Siddhi nodding. Yes, Siddhi.
That was another experience that first of all, I was like confused if my principal has got the book or not and anything has happened. So me and my class teacher, we both went down to the office, and then like before I said anything, she was like, I read your book. It was so amazing. It was so fantastic. You write so well. You make us all so proud. And then like my school, they give out these honor awards to anyone who has represented the school at a higher level. So I got one of those as well. And yeah, it was very happening. Like my friends, like they used to flex, they're like, my friend's an author and everything. And it's really fun, and it's very new, so it's a unique experience, unique and fun experience.
That's nice. That's nice to hear. Yes, Ranveer.
Yes, ma'am. I had a similar experience, just like Siddhi. Our school also has a knowledge week, a book week. So there we have special awards, just like there we have different categories. So there's avid readers and there's budding authors. So naturally, I also got an award, just like Siddhi, as she mentioned. And yes, of course, my friends were quite proud of me, and the principal, she also read. She said it's quite a nice book. It gave me a nice foot forward in the school, seeing that I have published a book with Scholastic, such a important, I'll say actually, uh, such a large writing firm, such a publishing firm. It really helped gain some nice image and respect in the school. So teachers used to approach me more often than they used to do before the book. I mean, that's impression management, but it's quite nice seeing the book could do wonders in the school. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, all of your schools received a copy for your library so that your principal, your friends, all of them can read it, go through your story, and of course, turn you into the celebrity that you guys are meant to be. What about you, Triana? Was it just as hyped for you, or was it a bit more low-key? I'm trying to use these slangs that, you
I
kids
think
use, so.
I think like obviously my principal and all, they were very hyped up about it. They thought it was a big deal. They had, I think we didn't have an award ceremony for it per se, but they did appreciate me like on their own time. My classmates were also very excited about it, and then they ended up forgetting about it because again, attention spans are very short. So they ended up forgetting about it within a couple of days. But the short time period in which they were very excited about it was really fun. So
That's nice to hear. Nandini, any more questions for our authors?
No, I don't have questions really. I'm just happy to hear all the things that, what their experience was. And I'm reliving some of those moments with Adrit and with Siddhi. And, it's one of the things is like when you go through something like this, I think when you sit down to write again after that, some of those learnings subconsciously you would have imbibed, and the way that we were thinking and the way we were structuring, that confidence of being able to structure your thoughts, that's something that I think beyond just writing stories, even in the academic life or even in their professional life, I think those things are important because it's basically like, how do you organize your ideas? You can have an idea. How do you organize it? How do you sort of play with it? How can you stay playful with it and still put out something that other people can understand? So when you go back to basics, it's a lot of fun. It's basically a lot of fun. And I'm glad, even though it was serious work, I hope that you retain some of the fun aspect of being able to express your ideas, which are just your ideas, into the world. And it's just so nice to see them. I hope they are able to write and express through their lives. This is not just something that's when they're young, but through your lives, that this is something you always fall back on as a friend, writing, expressing. That's the important thing.
Thanks, ma'am, for being an inspiration.
Of course. I want to say after that, even I got published in another anthology. So Penguin did a really beautiful book, actually. They did an anthology on the Indian city, and it's got poems on different cities from across India and different timelines, like it's from Amir Khusro to Rabindranath to like modern day poets, Amit Chaudhary, Gulzar Saab, all of those. And they selected two of my poems, one on Kolkata and one on Goa. And those poems are in that book. So while I celebrate your anthology and your books, I'm also thinking that, at heart, it's that same feeling. It's that joy of being published. It's that joy of holding.
Exactly.
Thank you.
To you too.
That is brilliant to hear, and it's immediately going on my wish list. In that long list of TBRs, I will definitely put it on top.
And I would like to take Nandini's word ahead. Like she said, every word matters. Don't wait for that perfect story. Make it perfect. Whatever you're writing, you can always make it perfect. Every word matters. You need to look around yourself with wonder, be filled with joy, because we need a lot of joy to be spread in the world. So look around with the wonder around and gather experiences and put it into words. Like I said earlier, everybody experiences the writer's slump. I think Nandini would agree with me there. So
Yes.
everyone experiences. It's not never give up, because resilience is very, very important there. You need to come out of that and again, build on whatever you did. Probably will come up with lovely imaginative ideas again. So be at it, looking around, with curiosity at what are the happenings. Like I said earlier, be very observant. And whatever your insights are, put it down. Definitely, it will make a great story for others to listen to. You need to be very thoughtful and empathetic about situations. I think a writer can write touching, connecting to people's hearts only if you are very thoughtful and empathetic. You need to be very empathetic, and that's how you get a lovely expression in your book. So playing with words, that's what book is, and then touching emotions. So that will do a wonderful job in your creation.
Wow, ma'am. Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you so
ma'am.
much for that. I'm sure all of our writers here are taking it to heart because, yes, writing for the sake of writing, for the joy that it brings to you and for the joy that it can bring to others around you. Being open to experiences that are, not just yours, but also other people's experiences, making sure that, that impacts you in a way that you grow as a person and putting your words down onto paper, not really focusing on the fact whether how good it looks, how the substance that it brings, like just writing for the sake of writing and ensuring that your thoughts are out on paper. I think that now is more relevant than ever, especially when we are having such a huge intake of content from all around us. We're constantly consuming some form of media or the other, so having that outlet is very, very important. Putting all of that mess in your head out onto the paper is and should be a very strong part of your routine, even if you're just taking 10 to 15 minutes a day. You guys don't have to, take out 2 hours every single day. That is not sustainable for long term, but do take out 10-15 minutes, even if it's just to put down your ideas or write anything that comes to you. Make sure that that habit stays consistent because, again, writing, like any other skill, is something that can be perfected, with practice. So keep writing, keep exploring your ideas, keep exploring the world around you through this. And I'm sure that it will take you very, very far. Even if you guys are not thinking of, immediately becoming authors for the long term or content creators or something to do primarily around writing, but the skills that you have picked up are going to take you so far. And as Nandini said, the things that you caught on to during the 10 days of workshop, traveling with you through your life and, being able to put that into practice or that manifesting in other parts of your life, that is something very real because I've had one of the authors in one of these previous book launches mentioned to me how one piece of advice, she did not remember who she got it from, but she got a piece of advice from one of the authors that she subconsciously or consciously continued to use well after the workshop had ended and into her normal writing practices. So you might not remember the exact person, the face, or even the voice of who said it, but you'd carry that with you for a long, long time. So I'm glad to see that all of you guys, in some way or the other, have continued writing, continuing to build on that skill, but consistency is also key. So I hope that you guys would be able to take out more time, 10-15 minutes a day, to be able to put that into practice, right? So thank you so much for all of you. Thank you so much, Nandini. Thank you so much, Frida ma'am, for joining us, making this such a special event, an even better one. And I'm sure that all of our writers here have taken your words to heart and, will appreciate what you said here today. So thank you. Thank you for your wise words. And all of you writers, yes.
Just one thing I want to say. Children, imagination is your superpower. So keep unleashing it in beautiful words, and God bless you all. God help you.
Thank you, ma'am. Nandini, any
Thank you so
final last words for our authors? Is it my internet?
No.
Okay. I think Nandini's camera is stuck, but okay, so we can, I think, oh. Okay, there might be some internet issue, but I'm really, really glad that all of you did make time for this, and a huge congratulations to our published authors now. You guys have put, and as Siddhi said, something that you will not regret for the rest of your life and something that you can only build on from here on out. You guys have accomplished a huge thing. Becoming authors at such a young age is not something to be taken lightly, right? So I hope that all of you, the feeling that you got when you first held the book, the feeling of pride, of accomplishment, I hope that you carry that with you in whatever you do from here on out, right? Thank you so much, and congratulations, and best of luck for all of your, endeavors that you push for. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you.